and tired of the same 1%, trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough. Day after day, we're working it all away. They keep poking the bear, and they're bound to get made. So I'll raise my glass for the hard-working class. Keep your fires burning hot. We can't be silent.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome, everybody, to Suck It! I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome. Derek, how the fuck is everybody tonight on a Thursday, September 10th, Friday Eve? Another Friday Eve edition of this wonderful, wonderful show. So, how's life? Things are good? Good. I know they're good over here. That's all that matters. Every day we're getting closer to the end of the year, and hopefully things will start changing. Who knows? But until then, we're just going to keep rocking and rolling and trying to do the best we damn can. Oh well. But we're not here to talk about that. We never are. We're here to talk fun, entertainment, mental health, all that good stuff that we talk about here on this lovely show. So, my guests tonight are part of a band that is a Latin band that doesn't have any Latin members in it, which is fantastic, which I think is a really cool kind of concept, and we'll talk about that more. And the guitarist and the creator of the band used to be a stuntman, a director, an actor, just a whole slew of cool things going on with these guys. So please welcome to the show, John Stewart and Madeleine Kaye. Hi, how are you guys?
Good, how you doing?
All good.
I'm wonderful. You?
We're all good.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, let's kind of dive right in here. John, you've had a hell of a life.
It's been interesting.
You've done everything from, directing and stunts, now, music, and, directed the Power Rangers and had a movie made about your life, and now you're doing this. What kind of led to this point? I mean, I guess that's my major question. What led to you to this point?
What led to the music?
Yeah, up till now. I mean, obviously, doing stunts and all that kind of stuff, kind of has a time limit on it because of, body goes bad. I'm a personal example of that because I was a professional wrestler. I know all about that. So what led to this point?
Well, yeah, you're right. So over my career, I've had a couple of broken backs, broken neck, broken femur, and all that. That's why I got into directing. And then from there, I got a chance. I've always played music and kind of dabbled, wrote my own songs growing up, never really did anything with them. And I got a chance to write a song for a movie once. I was producing a movie, so I had a pretty good idea if it didn't suck, it would get in the movie. So that's what led to this. And at the time, it was funny because I didn't have a band. I was sitting on an Apple box on a set, strumming the chords and writing the lyrics. And my friend goes, she walked up, she's a classical pianist. And she just says, "Whoa, oh, cool song." I said, "Yeah, it's going to be a title song in the movie." And she goes, "Well, who's the band? How are you going to record it?" I said, "Well, I don't have one. I got to figure that out." And she goes, "Well, let me get I got some guys. Let me talk to them." And I was literally playing it into a cassette tape. This is, I forget what year it was, but I was literally playing it into a cassette tape. So that's all she really had to show these people. So she takes off with it. I played, I can't sing, so obviously I hummed the verse and the chorus, and she went off, and I didn't talk to her for about a week. And she goes, "Hey, I got a band for you." So I said, "Great," because we're wrapping up the movie anyway, and we had to record this thing. So she didn't tell me who it was. So she goes, "Well, just be at the studio. Here's the address." It was in Orange County. This is when I was living in LA at the time. So I went down to Orange County. I walked in. It was a Righteous Brothers band. And I'm like, "You're kidding me? My first song recording is going to be with Jamie and Tim Lee and all these guys." And so we recorded the song, and they had a really good singer named James Gatson. He had worked in the past with Michael Jackson and a bunch of people. He's a really good singer, and he did the vocals on it. And Bill and Tim and everybody was part of the band, did the recording along with myself. So then I go back up. And we think that's it. We think that's going in the movie. So then I go back up to Big Bear, California, where I was living at the time, and go on a little karaoke place at the time. Everybody hung out on the weekends, and they were doing this song, and it was this guy he sounded just like Journey. His name was Nico Sobrato, and he was doing a Journey song. And he sounded just like the guy, and he was a big, bald, mean, biker-looking dude, And I went, "Oh my God, that's the guy I want singing a song." So the next day I found out where he worked. He owned a little local gas station up there. So I went down there and told him what was going on. And he turned out to be a really nice guy. And I gave him the song. He learned it. And I called up Jamie from the Righteous Brothers. I said, hold the press. I got to sing it for you. He goes, "What? What are you kidding? We're ready to go." I said, "No, let me bring him down." So I bring him down. And actually, Bill Medley was there that day, and put him in the booth. And Nico had rehearsed it with me up in Big Bear. And he sang. And he looked at me. He goes, "Where did you find this guy?" I said, "Karaoke bar." And so he ended up being on a record. And that's what we used. So from there, the movie wasn't even released yet. I have no idea what happened. All of a sudden, it just started playing on the radio on a rotation over and over and over and over. So that was basically the start of my musical career. And one thing led to another. Now I kind of got sick of LA, kind of retired, moved to Florida. And then retirement doesn't last long. So many days a week you can go on your boat. So I started writing again, and that's when I basically met Madeleine. And I wanted to write Spanish. I was writing mostly country at the time, but I have all these Spanish melodies in my head and rhythms when I pick up the guitar, but I didn't know any Spanish singers, And then I was working with one down here, but then Madeleine came across, and she sent me a Bobby McGee tape, and I knew she could sing. And then she said, "I speak Spanish." So I said, "Let me hear it." And then she was great. So that's how we got up to this point so far.
Well, damn. So, I mean, so you kind of briefly touched on it there. I mean, how exactly did you two, really come together? I mean, what exactly were the circumstances surrounding you two meeting?
Oh, I'll let her tell that.
So basically, John was reaching out. John was reaching out in Facebook groups looking for. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. John was reaching out in Facebook groups looking for singers to sing his music. So I'd been doing musical theater and cruise ship auditions for a while, and I was like, I think I need to start going a different route. And I just reached out to him, and I sent him a tape of me singing Bobby McGee, Janis Joplin. And we tried writing a country song or two together, and it wasn't feeling really authentic. And so he brought me in for an audition to do background vocals for a different Spanish artist that he was working with. And then we decided to sort of go our own way too and bring our band together. So it's been a really exciting change of pace for me, going from musical theater to singing Spanish music and working with a band. So it's been a really great learning experience for sure.
Wow. So how did you get started in the business, Madeleine?
Sure. So I actually started doing community theater when I was 6. I was just really drawn to it. Growing up in South Florida, there's a lot of theater communities. So my mom took me to an audition when I was a kid, and I just fell in love with it right away. I got my first cell phone when I was 7 years old because I was doing community theater, and I would be at the theater until 10 or 11 at night in the first grade, and then I'd go to school the next day. And I just had a love for it. I did 1 or 2 shows a year from age 6 to 22, and then started moving into wanting to do cruise ships and wanting to write my own music. So now it's kind of evolved into this awesome band with John. So I never had a musician that was really pushing me to be writing the songs all the time. And so John is this like motivating force. Definitely. He's the villain to my Power Ranger. Gets me going.
Well, no. He would be more of a Zordon, wouldn't he?
Yeah, okay. John wouldn't name our band a Power Rangers name. He had no interest.
So where did that name come from anyway?
I'm a 90s kid, man. I'm a 90s kid. I'm like, who's your favorite Ranger? He's like, yeah, I still talk to this person. I'm like, who's your favorite Ranger? But the band name, yeah. So it was a little bit of a journey. We came up with a couple creative names, and ultimately we decided that we wanted our name to be able to be transferable between an English market and a Spanish market. And so we were like, well, it kind of has to be a woman's name. And Juliana became this sort of figure of our imagination, and that's just how it evolved. We don't know anyone named Juliana, or I just picked it out of thin air.
The JulianaMusic.com was available, so that was a big help.
I'm the business and marketing side, and I'm like...
There wasn't a lot of thought that went into this. Let's see what's available.
Well, that's pretty smart, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, the girl I hired on Fiverr, she was pretty disappointed that we didn't choose, like, Rising Ocean Wave or whatever she wanted us to be.
That's the worst band name ever.
I hired this girl on Fiverr who came up with like 10 band names, and sorry if you're watching. It was pretty rough.
But if that was one of them, Rising...
Yeah, that's what passed on pretty quick, I think.
Yeah,
Say what
John
now?
passed on a lot of them.
Yeah, but Rising Wave Water or whatever that was, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, the first single was ready to be released, and we didn't have a name. So I'm like, we got to pick one this weekend, and
yeah,
just go with it, and
yeah, I think that's the thing with a lot of bands. They're together for a while and they get to throw around all these names and change their name a bunch of times. What John and I have been working on this project, like, it's going at a pace that neither of us really imagined it would evolve at.
Yeah.
So it's at some points we're just like, let's just make a decision, like, and that's part of the fun of it. I think there's not so much for John and I, like, it's so much fun. We try to keep it like the momentum and the creativity going, and just making sure that we're all enjoying it. As well as our percussionist Bob Ross, he's like such a delight and so lighthearted and just an awesome guy to be around. So it's really cool thing we have going, I think.
That's awesome. So why Spanish? Why Latin music?
Oh, can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
Well, for me, like I said, I was doing all country, and I think Spanish music sounds so beautiful. I was in Mexico once when I was a kid, and I heard on the radio walking through a mall, and I'm like, oh, this is such beautiful. I don't understand it, but you don't really need to. You can feel it, So for me, it just sounds beautiful. And that's why I want to do it. It's, you can get up and you can dance to it, and you can, and I have all these rhythms in my hand that won't work in country songs, you know what I mean? That come out when I pick up the guitar. I'm just playing this stuff, and I'm like, well, this isn't country. This sounds Spanish, and I'm hearing the melodies. So for me, it's just, I love the way it sounds. It's beautiful.
I gotcha. So, Madeleine, you spoke Spanish before this all happened?
Yes. So it was a surprisingly natural transition for me, writing in English to writing in Spanish. I picked up Spanish language when I was a kid, just in school. I had like a strange passion for it. And since most kids kind of goof off in the language classes, I always got a lot of attention from my teachers. And it just became something that I evolved into, like, loving and speaking and wanting to have a lot of Spanish friends. Living in Florida, there are so many Spanish speakers, and I've always loved the culture. And so to me, it felt really natural to want to speak Spanish amongst my friends and amongst people that live in Florida. And then I learned it in school. And I was really lucky when I was 17. I entered a Spanish second language speaking competition, and I was one of 20 students nationwide who got to go to Argentina for a couple weeks and get a full immersion experience. So that's when my love for the language really evolved, and I was dreaming in Spanish. I was speaking Spanish all the time, and I consider it my second language now. So.
Oh wow, that's kind of
no
cool.
one,
That you're
no
actually...
one in my family speaks Spanish. A couple French speakers, but no one in my immediate family speaks Spanish. So.
Wow, that's pretty cool that you actually dream in Spanish. That's pretty interesting. So where does the inspiration for the songs come from? Who does most of the
So
writing?
much of it. So I do the initial lyric, right? And
Okay.
then John will help me with melody. But the way that we do it is John lays down the melodies, lays down the track and arrangement for me, and sends it to me in a voice memo. And then I write throughout the week, and we have one rehearsal a week. And it usually comes together in that one rehearsal, and then we record. So the inspiration is pretty much all in the melodies, and it's kind of more than that, because I do feel like when you're a songwriter, your songs are an evolution of everything that's happened in your whole life. Like, I feel like these songs are inside of me, and it's what I've wanted to say and what I've been feeling for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the inspiration comes from. It's these things that I want to express, and I feel like artists have this amazing chance, all artists and people in general, to share the way they see the world. And I want to share that, and I want to empower people and for people to be confident and figure out who they are and what they want to say. And so a lot of my music is about channeling what I want to say, but also hopefully empowering people to say what you have to say and to be your own person.
That's pretty insightful. That's the best way to do it. And I mean, that shows genuine, that's just who you are, and you're not faking it or anything else like that. And that's pretty awesome. The beautiful thing about music is that it is a unifying force in this, horrible, times that we're living in. Even through, some of our darkest days, music's still there. And it's the only time in the world where you can go to a festival or you can go to a concert and see all walks of life, all colors, all sizes, all ages, all, nationalities. And it's just a beautiful thing. And when you can find that right niche, for you and for your band and in that market, it flourishes in such a beautiful way. I'm glad that you guys found your sound in such a unique way, as far as being, a Latin band, but it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love music. I mean, I started in this business 20 years ago as a guitarist. And there's not a day goes by that I'm just not jamming out to something. And it's a necessity these days.
For sure. There's so much good music coming out during this time too. I feel like the quarantine has kind of brought a lot out in artists, and so many artists are releasing and collaborating, and it goes to show that music is this powerful entity and this magic that we can all capture.
It is. But one thing I am afraid of is the ones that aren't doing single releases and then just going to release albums, which I'm not sure, the point of that these days. But I'm afraid that we're going to get like every band and artist in the world, and come January, February, releasing albums, and it's going to be like, it's going to be horrible. Because you're not going to know what to listen to, what's good, what's not. It's like, I don't. I fear January for music because it's gonna be It's gonna be overwhelming. It's gonna be overloaded. It's gonna be saturated as all hell. So, and this question's for either one of you guys. Where do you see, the music business going, and how do you plan on making sure Juliana, this fictional imaginary person that is now the band, make sure that she keeps up with the times and adjusts and and flourishes through the saturation like we were talking about.
For sure. So I think a driving force for John was that the Latin music industry was sort of going this route where everything's pretty electronic. A lot of music is going that route where a lot of the instruments are computerized. And John, do you want to talk about that and how we're going to sort of take a different direction?
Yeah, well, for me this year, I watched only a Latin music awards show, and almost everything on it was electronic. And I'm like, we got to get some real musicians and start recording, and that's what we're doing. We're using, real players, and it's more expensive and it takes longer, but it sounds so much better, I think, personally. Who knows what Spotify and all that worse is going. I think if you could, if you make good music and people like it and they share it, it'll find itself. But there's so much stuff out there, like you said, there's a million things coming out every day with Spotify. Anybody with a home studio can record something and put it up there. You know what I mean? We don't do that. We use a studio in West Palm, Dream Machine Recording Company. I'm going to plug them because they're really good. Miller's a great engineer. And he's old school. He's worked with many, many A-list singers in the past, and he takes the time and he mixes right. And when you hear these songs on like you say before, we found out sound. And when you hear these songs, you can feel the bass. You can feel the bass drum. You can feel the bass line. You know what I mean? It's not this computerized stuff that's all over the place. To me, if I go to a concert, I want to see a band playing. I don't want to be watching computerized stuff. So we're going to try and we're constantly writing. We got 3 more songs just almost done. We have 4 that we did already. So we're not going to put out an album. We're just going to put out one every month or two, as we finish it. And they're on our site now and they're free. We're not trying to make it 99 cents off a download. We just, like you say, people in these times, people just need to share the music and all come together. And hopefully, what's good in this downtime is we're recording, getting it out there, doing press stuff like we're doing tonight. Hopefully people get to know us. So when the world opens up and we get to play, and hopefully we'll get some people that want to come see us. You know what I mean? And what you'll see with us is a real show. You have real players, and we have great percussionists like she was talking about, Bob Ross. And you'll see real musicians. So, and the songs are good, and her lyrics are not poppy, they're soulful, you know what I mean? It's Latin pop music we're playing, but it's not bubblegum lyrics, they're soulful. She puts a lot of thought into them,
Yeah.
So where it's going, who knows,
Well, I do know, in my opinion, and you just said it yourself, the day of the full-length album is done, in my opinion. Singles and EPs are the only way to go. And that's my opinion. A lot of good bands that used to do albums are doing nothing but singles now because, it's a way to stay relevant. You put out one every month, one every couple of months, whatever, and it's always something new and fresh for your audience. Right. Way to stay relevant, especially with the ease of music these days. It just makes much more sense that way. But as far as what you were saying, as far as the electronic goes, you both are so 100%. I can feel it in my soul. Correct. Pro Tools has made it so easy to fabricate good music, air quotes. Right. And auto-tune and all this other crap. And that's why for me, I've always stayed on the hard rock metal side of things. Because, there's a couple electronic things in there, and they might have a whole, 20 pedals sitting in front of them to make weird sounds with their guitars, but it's still raw, it's still real. And when you go to a concert, you see, 4, 5, 6, 7, or in some cases 9, like Slipknot, people standing in front of you playing real music. And it's, why do we not see more of that? Even R&B, which was started as, the original rock and roll, has gone electronic, and it's just really
money. It's all about money.
It is because these big people, at BMG or Sony or whatever the case might be, get their grubby little hands on somebody that is good, and then say, we're going to change you, we're going to mold you, and you're going to do exactly what we say, and you're going to make $1 million, and we're going to make 10 million, and then we're all going to go about our happy ways. and I hate it.
Us
Yeah, I
too.
agree.
It's a big regression.
Huh?
It's a big regression in what music can be, and John, Bob, and I mean, all we want to do is perform live and bring these energies and this music to a live performance. You know, I feel like a lot of this computerized, right out the studio, Pro Tools kind of stuff, it's like it's just a product, and we definitely want to bring an experience.
And that's what music needs to be, is an experience. Absolutely. What were you gonna say, John?
Well, yeah, you don't want to phone it in. You want to go there and you want to play and you want to, you know, some bands, and you all have some stuff on backing tracks, so you'd have to have 20 people in a band. I get that, and that's cool. But the bass player and the drums and the main people got to be playing live. You know.
Yeah.
And like I said, as soon as I'm trying to work out, details, and as soon as the world opens up, that's what we want to do. Well, by that time we'll have enough songs for at least an opener, or do a co-show with somebody. We won't have 20 songs, but we'll have 7 or 8, maybe 9 songs by the time things start opening up, and that's definitely enough to get going.
Yeah.
I would love to. My dream thing would be open up for Shakira, get her audience. You know what I mean? Because there's a story with us. Oh, these guys are not Latin, but they're playing Latin. No, we got to. You know what I mean? They want to hear us to see if we suck or not.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be the biggest catch at first, especially down where you guys are at. In Florida with the high population of Cubans and so on and so forth. I spent the majority of my life in Florida before I moved to Virginia, and you're 100% right. I mean, it's Hispanic culture down there has taken over the whole Florida outlay, and it's a to be a part of that in any which way, shape, or form is pretty cool, because it just shows you the sign of the times, that times are changing. What used to be considered a minority is now equal to everybody else, which is kind of cool.
Like I'm saying is, I have some Latin friends, not a lot, but a few, and I've showed them some of the music, and they love it.
Yeah.
I don't say the singer's not Latin. I just say, hey, I text a song. Wow, beautiful. They love it. And I have some a lot of white friends, Jewish friends that don't speak any Spanish, and they love it too. And they don't know what she's saying, but they feel the melody, and they feel the song. So it's resonating with all cultures, I think.
Exactly. And that's why I love, again, music, because it's not limited by culture. You can do anything, like I said, when you go to a concert or, a festival or whatever, you see all walks of life, and it's, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So we're going to take a quick recess. We're going to play to Sabor, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we'll be right back.
Oh.
You guys say
Okay, so just let me.
Right. Mic stand, light.
I'm sure you could punch the hell out of John.
Let me know if you get sound in your headphones. Could you have some more body in your guitar, please?
My happy place. Cuando me despierto. Can I get a little more reverb on? Cuando me. That sounds perfect.
Cuando me despierto, eres lo primero en mis labios. Tú me animas al comienzo de mi día una vez más. Tú eres mi cortadito, sacudida a mis sentidos. Con una capa de azúcar, como la cafeína. Tomar en un sorbo tal vez más de una mañana. Tu dulzura es el final de mi día una vez más. Mi bebé, mi cortadito, sacudirá a mis sentidos con una capa de azúcar. Dame tu energía, tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Elevas el ritmo de mi corazón, eres la razón. Tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Una copa de alegría, no puedo creer que seas mía. Hiciste mi vaso medio lleno, un gusto y soy tuyo. Tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Elevas el ritmo de mi corazón, eres la razón. Tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Una copa de alegría, no puedo creer que seas mía. Tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Elevas el ritmo de mi corazón, eres la razón. Tomaré un sorbo, tal vez más azúcar, por favor y gracias. Una copa de alegría, no puedo creer que seas mía. Hiciste mi vaso medio lleno, un gusto y soy tuyo. How's that? Cool.
All right, so that was badass. Let me just say, I didn't listen to the song earlier today or this week at all, and I didn't do it on purpose because I wanted to give you a genuine reaction.
Yay,
First off-
I'm excited.
So first off, let me just say, like I said before, I'm a hardcore metal rock guy. That's that's nothing that's hidden. But one thing I love about this show is that, whether it be Jimmy and Eileen or the other PR agency I work with, they don't send me just rock guys. They don't send me just metal guys. They don't send me just actors. They send me a plethora of everything. So one thing that I love about it is the fact that I get to experience more than just what's in my phone on my Amazon playlist. And when I find something that's different and good and makes me, kind of go, damn, that says something. Especially coming from, like I said, someone that just loves hearing screaming in their ears all the time. But that impressed me, really, it really did. And, you brought, Madeleine, let me just tell you this. You bring a whole level of sexiness to that, to that song and your voice and just the way you present yourself, in such a classy but sexy way. It's beautifully done. It's a great song. The mix is really, really good. You're right about your sound engineer. Everything about it was amazing, and just my hat's off to you guys.
I appreciate
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I have no idea what the hell's being said. All I heard was, thank you in there a couple times.
Me either. I don't care. I just like the way it sounds.
Exactly. It sounds awesome.
That's for the white audio.
I have to check with her sometimes to make sure she's writing something crazy, but she sends me the lyrics. She translates them for me, but yeah, it's weird when you're playing it. You kind of pick up like you say, you pick up words so you know when the chorus is coming to an end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm learning a little as we go with these songs. You know?
Yeah, and like I said, it's a beautifully written song, and it has a nice flow to it, and you know, it does have that natural progression where you can hear the chorus coming in, and you know, the bridge was really beautiful on that too. I mean, so the whole thing was just really cool. So again, hats off to you guys. That's,
Thank you.
you know, and Madeleine, your voice is just tremendous.
Thank you. You know, like I said, coming from musical theater and then sort of evolving into this, I'm still learning how to be a rock singer, a pop singer. I'm used to this sort of characterized voice. I mean, the role that I played that was probably one of the biggest roles that I had the opportunity to do was Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray. And like the whole time you're like, oh, you know, like it's all characterized. You're not really being yourself. So this is something that I'm still learning and growing with, and I'm loving it.
Well, if you're still learning, then holy shit, in like 10 years, you're gonna be a powerhouse, someone to be reckoned with.
Well, because it's a different language, I feel like I have mastered my singing technique in English, but even the way that you shape vowels and stuff in Spanish is so different. So really, like, I do feel like I'm more vulnerable and finding new parts of my voice. And that's another thing about working with Miller and working with John. They are able to sort of work with me because they are seeing me try new things.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, are you guys planning on keeping it Spanish at all times, or are you guys planning on doing something different with it, or where do you guys plan on going with it?
I want to keep it Spanish because, like you say, it just sounds so much prettier to me. You know, the next song I'm doing, I think, has like one line in English, maybe. But I don't want to go back to doing English. I just like where it's going. You know, my motto is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's sounding good. And we could do an English song if we had to, but I don't want to. I like the way this is going. It just sounds so much like, I know great singers that sing so much better in Spanish than they do English. You know what I mean? And it just sounds better to me. You know. But if we had a show and they said, well, you have to do one English song, of course we could do it. But I just like the way it's going. It's funny because I don't know if you're from Florida, but we have a country bar up here called Renegades, and it's all country. I mean, you know, redneck country, and they're doing a line dance to this song. The lady who teaches line dancing is actually teaching this, and the minute she says, "Hey, we're going to learn a new song," I don't know if you remember this, man, last week. She goes, and it's Spanish. What do? They started clapping. You know.
Yeah.
They love it. You know, and I think for a float, like you say, you can go to a festival and you can, because I grew up playing, you know, the first songs I was on was Aerosmith and Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? And AC/DC, and I love that stuff too. But this stuff, once you put it on, people start dancing, you know? I think you can have bands do a rock concert with rock bands and Latin, put it all together in a festival, and I think it will work.
Oh, I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I have it stuck in my head now. I mean, it's one of those songs that just gets stuck there. It's because it's catchy. But yeah, I mean, you do have a good technique with the Spanish words and the singing and everything like that, and it works really, really well. I'm just, you know, enthralled with how good it was.
Oh, so, really? Appreciate the feedback.
Hey, no problem. I mean, one of the things I love doing on this show is bringing on the small artists that are trying to break into the, you know, break in and break out. And, you know, over the last couple months, I've brought on bands that have come on and played an hour-long set on the show, you know, in order to, you know, just make a name for themselves. I mean, and to see their faces when, you know, they're playing their songs and to see the things that, you know, it's really, really, really beautiful. I mean, I've, you know, especially now in this day and age where we can't go out and play. I was a guy that saw 10 concerts last year and haven't been able to go see one this year. And, you know, so one of the ideas I had was, hey, let's try to bring music back in some which way, shape, or form. And I did it on my show, but the appreciation level for some of these guys is just amazing. And I can see, the same, level of enthusiasm that you guys have as well. And, because it's one of those things where I just love being that megaphone for you guys in order to tell the world about your message. So you got 25,000 people listening right now. So,
Well, it's all about, like you say, having fun, and
exactly.
Don't take it too seriously. Just have fun and go with it.
Exactly. So
Keep that megaphone on, Derek.
The only good thing about playing live, though, you're hearing these songs. It's like you spend all this time, as you know, mixing and mastering and spending out getting EQ for the snare drum just right or the bass drum, all this stuff, and you hear it in the studio or the speaker. It is beautiful. And then what are we hearing around now? Speakers through the computer and phones, and you don't really know how good it sounds until you hear some good speakers. That's the only when you play live, you can get that if you have a good system,
Correct, yeah.
And here we can't get that, so it's going to be fun to play live and let people hear it where they can feel the bass and feel the kick drum and all that stuff,
Yeah. And the thing about it is, who knows when that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah,
sure. I had tickets for a concert that was supposed to happen at the end of October, and that even got canceled. So they're and it's not going to happen until at least the beginning of the year. Hopefully next year we get some concerts. Hopefully next year things start opening up. But it's so, we just don't know, and that really, 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 really sucks. Because the thing about it is, the last, business that's going to come back, that's going to take a while to get back, is this music. Right. Music is going to be the last thing that's going to take the biggest hit, and it's also going to be the last to make a comeback, as far as live shows go. Because that's the only way bands really make money anymore, is by playing live.
Exactly.
And it's going to take a while for that to happen, because everyone's going to want to take a tour. Everyone's going to, next year, if it happens at all, the festivals next year are going to be jam-packed. Everyone's going to want to play a set, and the major festival promoters are going to be putting like 20 or 30 different bands instead of just 10, and everyone's going to play a half an hour set because everyone's going to try. It's going to be bombarded next year. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So if everything, are you guys planning on anything for next year, or what are you guys doing right now? You just kind of playing it by ear, or what?
Well, we're using this downtime to write songs and record, because that takes a while, that process. Even though I've never done it any faster than we've been doing it, to be honest with you, but it still takes a while to do 7 or 8, 9, 10 songs. So that's what we're doing now. We're using the downtime to do that, and I definitely 100% want to tour when the world opens up. So we're looking for a team. We have a great team as far as recording, a bit of players and our engineers, but we need a team as far as management and bookers to get out there in the real world. So that's what I'm looking for now. So if anybody's listening, people, let us know. So we're trying to put a team together so when the world does open up, we can get to the right bookers in the right places to go play,
Yeah,
I am already. I've already started telling some ideas to John and Bob as far as the showmanship of the kind of shows that I want to put together, just because I did do theater for so long, and I also, in South Florida, I used to assist with an event group that created a big drag show and burlesque show community down here. So I want to bring sets and costumes and interactive elements to all of our shows. So I know that kind of stuff takes time, and I'm already sort of starting the storyboard for that kind of stuff.
So I was just getting ready to ask, if you missed music theater, and obviously you do if you're wanting to bring that, that element to your shows.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
It's just as competitive of a place as I feel music is, and I was able to do it for so long, and I didn't. It's not out of my system, but I do feel like creatively I'm ready to go in a different direction. As much as I love doing it, I feel like it's a part of my past and a part of my story now, and I'm sort of ready to move on creatively.
Yeah. Some people stay in it forever, and but eventually that wears on your vocal cords and everything else like that. Especially performing the same set 2 nights a week, 2 nights 2 times a night, or sometimes 3 times a night, or 20 times a week versus playing a half-hour, 45-minute set, every other day. I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, we want to have like dances, background Latin dances, get the whole feel going, not just get up there and play. We put on kind of a show, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we want to bring a theatrical and musical theatrical feel to our shows, so I think I'll be able to still channel that and bring that into what we're doing.
It's it's pretty awesome. I mean, it really is. And especially in Florida, you guys have so many different venues and opportunities that are down there, and they just need to open back up. So where are you guys based out of right now?
Palm
We're
Beach,
just north of West Palm Beach, Palm Beach Gardens.
Gotcha. Okay.
West Palm area.
Yeah, my wife is originally from Port St. Lucie, so
Okay, yeah.
we lived there together for about a year. I hated it. I hated everything about Florida.
There's a little more culture down south.
Yeah, I'm originally from Florida. In the Orlando area, and I spent a year down in Port St. Lucie before we ended up coming back to Orlando and then moving here in Virginia. But I just did not like it in Florida at all. Too touristy, too hot. Traffic is horrible. So more power to you guys for putting up with that part of it.
Well, we live in like kind of Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens area. It's kind of like we don't get the big traffic, and we get the nice blue water. And I feel like I'm from LA. I moved here from LA 4 years ago, but I kind of feel like I'm on vacation all the time.
Yeah.
We definitely get the heat though, and right now we're shooting our videos on an iPhone 11, and so we have to shoot daylight exterior a lot of times. So we're definitely experiencing the Floridian subtropical climate.
Yeah, I do not miss that. I mean, it was 65 today. Nice little overcast. Just the leaves are already starting to change color. It's because originally I'm from Ohio. I was born right outside of Cleveland, and we moved to Florida when I was 7. That's why I say originally, because I only spent 7 years there and I spent 30 years in Florida. But I just don't miss the heat. I was never built for heat.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But right before I logged on, I actually checked into. I'm at the Airbnb that we're filming our next video at tomorrow morning. So I'm excited. The AC is blasting already.
Good. AC needs to be blasting at all times down there. So you guys are filming another video tomorrow?
Yes. So we're filming a video for one of our ballads. So it's going to be a little bit of a shift from this sort of dancey video vibe that we've done, and I'm excited. John having all of this directing experience, and then me being able to incorporate my acting experience, making the videos is one of the more fun parts for me too.
Gotcha.
I've got a lot of props and stuff for tomorrow, so you'll see, John.
Yeah, I have no idea what you got in mind, so I'm scared now. We say it's a ballad, but it's 110 BPM, so it's not too slow. You know what I mean? It's kind of in the middle there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, John broke his back a lot as a stuntman, so now when I'm breaking his back, it's really nothing to him.
Yeah. And I feel you on that, John. I mean, I broke my neck twice, so.
Oh, wrestler, yeah. In fact, I did and I don't know which movie, but I did a movie with Rowdy Piper years ago.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Yeah. That's a tough business. I mean,
it is.
I've done a lot of fight scenes, and I know even when it hurts.
It hurts. Yeah, and but the sad thing about it is I didn't even break my neck in the ring. I was in a car accident.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I was actually in a car accident, and the second time I did it, just the mechanics in my neck from the original surgery just came loose. And the second time I did it was last December. So it's been about, about 20 months now, but almost 2 years. But I broke it while sneezing.
See, because you'd already broken it before.
Yep.
Wow.
And the mechanics came loose, and they didn't sit right, and that sneeze was just so violent it broke my neck again.
Sneezing?
probably make a metal song out of that.
Probably.
I had a Q-tip in my ear once, and I sneezed, and I put it through my eardrum.
Yeah.
So be careful when you sneeze.
Sneezing is bad. Yeah, I mean my neck was so bad the second time that they had to remove 2 of my bones in my neck, and actually now I have a cage connecting, the gap that was removed from my neck.
Whoa.
Yeah, they removed my C5 and my C6. And now I have a cage in between C4 and C7, making sure my neck stays in place.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want to break it again.
I don't think I can. Maybe I can break it above it or below it, but not that area. That area is sealed tight.
Right.
Thankfully, who knows though. The human body is a fragile thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and I got another song here I want to play of you guys. We're gonna spout you out tonight. So this one is Las Rosas.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Roses. The roses.
The Roses.
Las Rosas.
I figured as much. All right.
That was the first one we released.
That was the first one we released?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then a little bit of a blast from the past from you guys. Then let's go ahead and pull it up now.
2 months ago. We're old timers.
Old timers, yeah, I know, right? Veterans in the business already. Hell, there's this, in this venture, being on for 3 months is definitely a thing that happens. I mean, no joke. Bands, go away after 2 days nowadays, or at least one song is be over with it.
Yeah, speaking of the heat, look at the sweat on my shirt in this video. You'll see how hot it was this day. We shot it's only like a couple of months ago.
Well, I guess let's see now. Let's see how good this one is. Hopefully, I don't doubt it's any I don't doubt that it's not as good as the other one. So let's see here. All right. Las Rosas.
Sus ojos saltones, oscuros, inteligentísimos y grandes, están difícilmente detenidos, casi fuera de las órbitas por párpados hinchados y protuberantes como de batracio.
Caballeros, bienvenidos a su vida. Es hora de color como el mundo de Frida. Tiren la casa por la ventana. Vivan como si no hubiera mañana. Es sobre el momento, no la lana. El día es mío. Olvide el pasado, recorde el presente. No necesito más, lo que tengo es suficiente. No soy la oscuridad, soy las estrellas. Para ser como reyes, piensen como reyes. Crecí, el jardín, olí las rosas. Cada calle es su pista, no miren atrás. Es una aventura, no cuenten las cuadras. Cuando el sol brilla, olviden días más oscuros. Bailamos, reímos, comemos los churros. Después de todo, la vida es pan comido. Olvide el pasado, recorde el presente. No necesito más, lo que tengo es suficiente. No soy la oscuridad, mejor del presente. No necesito más, lo que tengo es suficiente. No soy la oscuridad, soy las estrellas. Para ser como ellas, piensen como reyes. No soy la oscuridad, soy las estrellas. Para ser como ellas, piensen como reyes. Nadie puede vivir para mí.
Well,
You
wow.
see what your likes are. Fade to black.
Hold on. Wow, that was a good song too. Damn. Y'all
That
got
was kind of different, right?
that was a lot different. So let me ask you a question. After watching that video,
Yeah.
are you LGBTQ, Madeline?
Yes.
Fantastic. My hat's off to you on that one.
Thank you.
My daughter, who's 18, is gay, and I actually have a LGBTQ tattoo for her that I got. It says love, and
That's
it's got the
awesome.
it's love, and it's got the flag on it. For her birthday last year, I got her the exact same tattoo, and her and I got it together.
So cool, Derek.
So, I love seeing that kind of stuff now because it needs to be at the it still needs to be talked about. It still needs to be at the forefront of things. One of the things that, I push hardcore on this show because I, suffer from bipolar disorder and stuff like that, is mental health, and being able to talk freely and express who you are is a big component of that. So, my hat's off to you for, using your musical platform to speak about that. Even though I have no idea what was said in the song, the look in the eyes that you were giving that other female was just, you could tell, and it was a beautiful thing as well. So, again, my hat's off to you, even though I'm not wearing a hat tonight.
Thank you so much. And we definitely wanted to highlight Frida Kahlo as a queer icon. She was part of the inspiration for the song, and the very first line is like, "You should be living life in color like Frida Kahlo," because she had all of these heavy things happen in her life, and yet she was still able to bring this color and this vibrancy to her life. And that's really what inspired the song. It's all about living in the present moment, and where the title comes from is, you've already grown the garden, and you've already stopped to smell the roses. Like, you can just live and enjoy and be.
That's awesome. That's pretty deep.
Thanks.
Damn.
Told you these lyrics were deep, man.
Huh?
Told you these lyrics were deep. They're not popcorn, bubblegum stuff,
Yeah, and that's what makes it even more appealing. Yeah, it's beautiful. It sounds great, but knowing the deepness of the actual lyrics themselves is what makes it even better. That's pretty profound. I mean, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, a lot of people like to listen to the music, and a lot of people like to get into it. And like, okay, what do these lyrics mean? You know what I mean? Even if they interpret it different to themselves, everybody interprets it their own way. But so it's good. We're covering all bases. I think it's got a good groove, and then people that like to listen to lyrics would enjoy it too, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you guys are just amazing. I cannot wait till I see you guys blow up, because you guys are definitely on the verge of that happening. I definitely think you have the right PR people behind you, because they're fantastic people. But you guys are just amazing people, and the music is great. The lyrics are great. Everything about it, what you guys are doing is awesome. And I compliment you guys big time behind that.
Well, I really appreciate feedback coming from you.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem. I mean, it's my pleasure to bring on up and coming artists on this show. Therefore, in a year or two when you guys blow up, I can say I interviewed him first. It's an ego thing for me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I know I love talking to artists. I don't care what size they are. So let me rewind for a second because I have to ask this question. I was thinking about this earlier. All right, so John, in the 90s, the mid-90s, you were directing Power Rangers. Early to mid-90s, okay?
When it first started, I think it was 91 or 92.
90, whatever it was, yeah, okay. So one of the people that you directed on that show, Jason David Frank, played you in the movie that was made about you.
That's funny, and I got to direct him directing himself. It was pretty screwed up that day. Yeah, that he found out they were making the movie. And he called me up and he goes, "Look, I want to play you." And he goes, I know how you walk, I know how you talk, I know how you dress with the jean jacket. I know, I worked with you for a year. And I said, well, if it's cool with me, if it's all right with the people who are doing the movie. So that's how that came about. So yeah, it was pretty surreal doing the scenes where he's playing me, and I'm directing himself in Power Rangers. If that makes any sense.
That's pretty awesome, though. That's pretty awesome, though. I mean, to have somebody that you knew, especially, that called you up to say, hey, I want to play you. That just shows you the impact that you had on his life. And, so many other people's lives in the, in the business that you had. So, now you're taking that and bringing it, all that experience, all that, respect that you had in the movie business now to the music business. And I think that's pretty awesome of you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's kind of similar, it's like when you do a big concert, you're rolling a town. It's almost the same as doing a movie, but you're only there for a night.
Yeah.
And you do it all over again, where a movie you'd stay a week or a month or 2 months, however long the shoot takes. But it feels like the same kind of production to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. However, walking on stage and that crowd going wild,
yes,
is the greatest feeling in the world. It's magical. When I was a wrestler and I used to be able to just say, certain things and piss people off, and I would get booed, and I loved it. Or I would say things to, make them happy, and they would cheer me, and I loved it. Or when I'm up on stage, telling jokes, being a comedian now, that reaction, when you get to say certain things, or, and you're in your head, exactly how you want them to react. And then when they give you back that reaction, it's like, yep, that works. That connected. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a lot different doing movies. You're in front of a camera and you got a little bit of crew around you, but it's a whole different, like you say, walking on a stage and playing for thousands of people. You hear the roaring and you get screaming. And the energy is just like nothing I've ever felt before. I got a chance to do it a short time when I was with the girl from American Idol. We did some tour on Big and Rich, and played some fairly large crowds. But I remember the first time I walked out, I was scared to death, And I'm thinking to myself, it was my song we were playing first, and I'm like, thinking, am I going to forget the chords? And I'm like, what am I scared for? I jumped off a 16-story building. This should be a cakewalk, But my legs were like, and she introduced me, and then I had to walk out. I didn't want to walk it, but as soon as I get the first chord out there, I was hooked. Like I said, I got to do more of this,
Yeah.
Like you say, as a wrestler, you're in front of the fans too, and if you get the energy, which you don't get in a movie camera,
Yeah. No, you don't.
You see it later when it's up on the screen or whatever, but that's months or years later. This is instantaneous,
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, I started in the business, in the music business, and I got to play in front of thousands of people, playing guitar and singing and stuff like that. And it was a rush.
Yeah.
And then that crowd control that I learned, from wrestling was pretty awesome. And, I could just feel out that crowd and give them, exactly what they wanted. And then they would give me back exactly what I wanted. And now as a comedian, the same thing. That reaction is just priceless. You know, when I'm up there and I, you know, say a joke that's off color and I want them to kind of go, oh, and not know whether or not to laugh or, you know, or boo me, you know, and I get that exact reaction and then that delayed laugh.
Right.
It's like, that's exactly what I wanted. It's a beautiful thing. And, you know, music does that exact same thing. I mean, if you can make them smile and just pause and, you know, slowly bob their head and just enjoy it, and you see that reaction, exactly what you wanted. It's epic.
Yeah. It's
You have
It's
all
beautiful.
the power.
You do. You have all the power up there. You really do. Yeah, I mean, I remember, God, what was it? Shit, what one is it? I can't remember when it was. But I was at a concert at the House of Blues in Orlando, and a really famous, popular band that came out of the Orlando area was up on stage, and they were opening for a band called Machine Head, and they got up there, and they had, you know, been touring the country or whatever else, but everyone knew that they were from there, and everyone knew who they were. And they got up on stage, and the lead singer, he got up on stage, and he said, he goes, "Ah, fuck it, you guys know who we are, let's just play." And he just started going, and the whole crowd was like, yes. The name of the band is Trivium, and the lead singer's name is Matt, and you know, Matt was just up there, he just like, you know, whatever, let's just do this, you guys know who we are. And they got a bigger reaction than Machine Head got later on in the night, and it was, you know, I could feel the electricity because I knew the guys, so I could feel the electricity in the air, and that is just, again, music just does something to you, and it's awesome.
That's important, and it's going to be the last thing to open up. But it's really the most important thing to open up first, I would think, is it's going to calm people down and bring people together.
Yeah.
But like you said, it'll probably be the last thing with sports and whatever to open up.
Yeah. I mean, I think, though, if the concerts do open up and everything like that, I think we're going to see more sold-out shows next year than we've ever seen before.
Right.
Tickets are going to blow off the roof. I don't care if it's a local gig, you know, just with, you know, 4 or 5 different local bands at the bar downtown, you know, whatever. It's going to sell out everywhere, every night for the next year. I can foresee that now, and it's just going to be badass.
People will be busy for a while on the road.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go crazy with touring. It's going to be insane. So if they don't catch you, you know, during the first leg of the tour, they're going to catch you with the second or third leg, because that tour is going to go on for a while.
Exactly.
Because they have some money to make up.
I mean, the bands don't make what you think they make. It costs a lot of money to go out and play.
It does. It really, really does. And some of these stage shows are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it, 3 years ago? One of my favorite bands in the entire world, a band called Avenged Sevenfold, you know, we're going to put out a headlining show, and they had this huge setup. It cost, you know, millions of dollars to get ready for. And a month before they were supposed to go out on the road, the lead singer came down with a really, really serious vocal infection. And he's just now recovering. It's been that long. It took that long to get back, you know, his cords back. But, you know, the amount of money that was lost going into that show just you know, it was millions.
Yeah, because you still got to pay the people and the crew, and there's no insurance that covers that.
Yeah. And then losing all those ticket sales and have nothing to come in for it at all except for the record, which, again, records don't make money anymore. So
Right.
it's a huge hit. And it takes a lot of money to make these things come together.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to. It'd be great to get on the coattails some well-known artists, and get their audience, you know, to grow our audience, and just to open for them like a 5-6 song opener, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to work out, you know.
We don't need coattails, John.
What? What?
We don't need coattails.
Hey, you know, that's how Taylor Swift did it. She was opening for some people, and by the time the tour ended, she was famous, you know. You get all their exposure to their fans, you know. Now it's a little easier with social media and doing stuff like this. But, you know, back in the day, the only way you got known was play. You know that.
Yeah.
Get up there and play. Get your audience one by one. Travel the country and play in every little bar and honky tonk.
Yep.
Now it's so easy to put social media, but it helps because if you're not a name, no one's going to invest in the tour for yourself. They don't know if they're going to sell tickets. So
Exactly. And that's one thing I do like about the touring, the way, I mean, at least on the rock side is, I'm not sure about the other, genres, but when one band goes out on tour, they're not just taking an opening act with them now. They're taking 3 and 4 opening acts with them. So it's, 4 and 5 bands, so I mean, last year when I saw all the different shows I saw, it wasn't just 1 or 2 bands on the act. It was like 4 and 5 on every show.
All
So
right.
it was an experience and a half, and I loved every damn minute of it. Every damn minute of it. Yeah, I mean, especially like when I went and saw Slipknot last year, they had 3 other bands with them, and it went from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night, and it was just an experience. And I love that crap. I love music. I want to go see a concert.
what?
I was hoping Bonnaroo was going to be in October. I usually go to Bonnaroo in June in the middle of Tennessee, Manchester, Tennessee, and you're in a tent in 102-degree weather. I'm like, oh, October, this isn't bad.
Yeah. I was actually hoping to go to the whatever they call Rock on the Range next year, but they usually announce it by now, and they haven't even announced anything right now. So it's like, May is festival month, across the country. It's called the world's loudest month for a reason, and they haven't announced anything for next year already, and they're because they're holding off. It's interesting.
I've been here in 22, but who knows?
If it goes a whole other year of this, as far as music goes, you're gonna see. You know how I said earlier that you're gonna see an oversaturation come January?
All right.
The following January, you're gonna see just the creme de la creme. Everyone that's that can't make it, that doesn't understand the business, that's just riding coattails or whatever the case might be, that can't make it on their own, we're gonna see a huge dip in that next year if this goes on a whole other year.
Yeah. Like I said,
I
we're
think
just.
there are creative alternatives.
Huh?
Sorry, John. I think that we're going to see some creative alternatives come up too, as far as social distancing and creating these live music events where people can come and enjoy and maybe be in a field and have
Areas, whatever.
6 feet of difference, or we're all in a bubble, whatever it may be. I think that we're going to have some art and have some distribution of this art and music and unity. We want to keep the joy up, at least. I hope that there will be some creative alternatives that are going to arise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I guess for me, as far as being the rock guy goes, the biggest festival producer out there is Danny Wimmer Presents. So I'm kind of waiting to see what the whole Danny Wimmer thing happens. And, because they have, not Rock on the Range anymore. It's called Sonic Temple. And then there's one in Jacksonville, and there's one in, Carolina, and there's one in Oklahoma, and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with that, but I just don't know. I do not know. But
yeah, as a rock guy, so much of it is like being in the pit with other people and feeling that sweat on you, right?
I'm old now. I don't go in the pit anymore. I'm only 38, 39. How old am I? I don't even know. But damn it, I'm old. Or at least I feel old.
Count anyway.
Huh?
This year doesn't count anyway.
No, it doesn't. So I'm 38. This year just completely, I don't turn 40 next year. That's what I'm saying. This year completely is just erased.
That's one.
But again, I mean, I hope, people like you and all the other bands I've had on the show, and even some of my favorite bands out there really kind of get to make up some headway next year, because the world needs music, and I'm happy that it's easily accessible. But whether I come down to my basement, in my studio, and listen on my Alexa, or my car, it's not the same. I can even go on YouTube and watch, a concert from, a professionally, made concert, video. And it's still not the same. There's nothing like being in the crowd,
Right.
And seeing the stuff that happens, and, getting the sweat, head banged on you by the guy next to you or the lead singer because you're just right up by the stage, and whatever the case might be. It's just it's an experience that everyone needs to have in their lifetime, and I wish it needs to happen again. It does, safely, but it needs to happen.
It will. Who knows? It'll be this year or next, but it will happen.
Yeah. If 2022 is when it happens, I guess, again, we're going to get the best of the best, because people are going to be, the only ones that are left are the ones that are worth a damn. And I definitely think that you guys will be a part of that, because I think you guys are amazing, to be totally honest with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So I wish you guys nothing but the best. And when you guys finish up that video editing and everything like that, send it my way, and I'll play it again. I'll play it on this show too. I want to give you guys as much exposure as I possibly can.
I appreciate it.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Anytime you guys want to come back, just let me know. I can talk to you guys all day.
Cool. We hope to come.
Will do. This is fun.
Playing, we hope to come see you in person too.
Absolutely. I don't even go to Florida to visit my mom, so I'll wait for you guys to come up this way.
Where is this way? I don't even know where you are. Where are you?
I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. Yeah, right outside of DC.
Cool.
And I hope you share the video with your daughter, and I appreciate you asking that question and allowing me to open up and be myself.
Oh, again, this show is all about being yourself and raw and honesty, and I don't like to hide anything. And again, with being a mental health advocate, being LGBTQ is something that's still not looked on in the best way in some cases. And in order to be able to have the best mind, clear mind, and the best sense of self-worth, you've got to be raw and real with who you are. So if I can give you that platform to do that, Madeleine, I'm all about it.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. It was my pleasure to have you guys on tonight. You guys are, like I said, just amazing, and I cannot wait to see what you guys do next. And like I said, give me that video, and I'll play it on here as soon as you guys are made.
Cool. Well, good meeting you.
You too, and we'll definitely keep in touch, though.
Okay, sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks again, guys. You have a good night.
Peace.
Peace. Oh, what a cool group of guys. Damn, I love my job. I really do. This is what it's all about. So, tomorrow night. Who do I have on tomorrow night? I don't even know. Or should I know? I probably should. Tomorrow night, I have another Latin singer. I know that. I have on tomorrow Natasha Rumbos. So that'll be another fun conversation. So I have Natasha on tomorrow. Again, so come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, for another edition of a Friday. Suck it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay heavy. Peace.